Sometimes, the most dangerous relationships are the ones that look innocent at first glance. A teenage crush, a high school romance, a young couple trying to figure out love. It sounds ordinary, but behind the smiles, the photos, the text messages, and the public affection, something darker can grow. Possession, jealousy, control, and when that toxic love is allowed to fester unchecked, the results can be fatal. Kaylie Juga was just 15 years old when her life was stolen. And it was not by a stranger. It was not by some masked man in the dark. It was taken by someone who once claimed to love her. Someone she trusted. Someone she had already tried to walk away from. This is the horrifying story of how young love turned to obsession and ended in cold-blooded murder. Kaylie lived in Kenosha, Wisconsin, a peaceful town by the lake with a tight-knit community. She was the kind of girl everyone noticed, bright, outspoken, and kind-hearted, with dreams of becoming a singer or maybe a lawyer someday. Her smile was magnetic and her confidence was rare for someone her age. She was popular at school, but not in a mean way. People were drawn to her energy, her laughter, and her sense of loyalty to friends and family. In her sophomore year, Kaylie started dating Murder Fuller, a boy in her grade. At first, it was the usual high school romance. Cute texts, hallway hugs, and date nights at the movies. But it did not take long before things began to shift. Murder was known to be charming, at least on the surface, but those who knew him better described him as impulsive, possessive, and quick to anger. At first, the signs were subtle. He wanted to know where she was all the time. He would get upset if she posted certain pictures. He started calling her late at night, accusing her of ignoring him. When she tried to hang out with her girlfriends, he would become moody and guilt-tripper. Classic signs of a controlling partner. But Kaylie, like so many young girls, thought it was just passion. She believed that he acted this way because he loved her. But love does not isolate you. Love does not make you afraid. Eventually, even Kaylie started to realize that something was not right. She confided in her parents that Murder was becoming emotionally unstable. Her father, Jonathan, was especially concerned. He had grown up understanding the signs of abuse, and he did not like what he was seeing. He told Kaylie she deserved better. He encouraged her to end things, and she tried. But Murder did not take rejection well. After the breakup, Murder began harassing her. He sent threatening messages. He showed up uninvited at places she went. He made her feel unsafe in her own town. Her family contacted the school. They contacted authorities. In fact, in the months leading up to the murder, multiple reports were made to school administrators and police about Murder's behavior. In a just world, that should have been enough to protect her. But the system failed Kaylie. Despite the reports, despite the evidence of a pattern, no legal action was taken strong enough to keep Murder away. The school even suspended him at one point, but it did little to stop the threat. The obsession had already taken over, and Murder was spiraling. Then came May 9th, 2019. It was supposed to be a normal day. Kaylie was home with her mother, Lisa, after finishing her classes. Her father was at work. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, but someone was watching. Murder had skipped school that day. He had found a way to get access to the Juga family home, possibly through a door he knew was unlocked. He had a plan, and he was carrying a stolen handgun. At 3:10 p.m., Lisa Juga called 911 in a panic. Her daughter had been shot. She had been shot multiple times in her own bedroom. Emergency responders arrived quickly, but it was too late. Kaylie was pronounced dead at the scene. The entire community was shaken. A teenage girl full of life and full of dreams murdered in her own home. It was a nightmare. Murder had fled the scene immediately after the shooting, but the police were already closing in. By that evening, a massive manhunt was underway. With the help of surveillance footage, phone tracking, and witness tips, authorities located him the next day, hiding at a relative's house. He was arrested and charged with first-degree intentional homicide, attempted homicide for also firing at Lisa Juga, and several firearm violations. What stunned people the most was not just the brutality of the crime, but how preventable it seemed. There had been so many warning signs, so many cries for help, yet nothing had stopped him. As the investigation unfolded, more details emerged. Messages recovered from Murder's phone showed disturbing thoughts. He had talked about ending it all. He had written about Kaylie like she was a possession, something he had lost control over. Friends revealed he had threatened to harm her in the past. One classmate even told police that Murder once said, "If I can't have her, no one will." That statement echoed through the courtroom when the trial began. Murder Fuller pleaded not guilty. His defense team tried to argue that he was a troubled teen and that his actions were impulsive and not premeditated. But prosecutors painted a chilling picture of a calculated killer who had planned the murder, brought a stolen weapon, and fired not just once, but multiple times, with deadly precision. Kaylie's family sat through every day of that trial, reliving the horror. The pain in their eyes was undeniable. They were not just grieving parents. They were victims of a system that had failed to protect their daughter. The jury saw the truth. In October 2021, Murder Fuller was found guilty of all charges. The judge sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He showed no visible emotion as the sentence was read, but the courtroom did. There were tears, gasps, and a sense of justice that came far too late. Even in death, Kaylee's legacy lived on. Her parents, determined to turn their tragedy into purpose, started pushing for change. They called for better protection laws for minors experiencing dating violence. They wanted schools to take threats more seriously. They began working with advocacy groups to educate teens about healthy relationships and the red flags of emotional abuse. Because the truth is, teenage relationship violence is more common than many want to believe. According to national statistics, 1 in 3 young people will experience some form of abuse in a romantic relationship before they reach adulthood. That includes emotional manipulation, stalking threats, and physical violence. Kaylee's case is not an isolated incident, it is part of a larger epidemic. This case reminds us all that obsession is not romantic, that controlling behavior is not a sign of love, and that if someone ever makes you feel afraid, unsafe, or trapped, you must speak up, and the people around you must act. Kaylie Juga had dreams. She had a future. She had a family who loved her deeply. She was not just a statistic. She was a daughter, a friend, a student, and a bright soul who deserved so much more than what happened to her. And now, her story serves as a warning, a haunting reminder that danger can sometimes wear the face of someone you once trusted. If you are in a relationship that feels wrong, or you know someone who might be in danger, speak up. Say something, because silence can be deadly. If you found this story difficult to hear, it is because it should be. Kaylee's case is not just a crime story, it is a wake-up call, one that forces all of us to question how we talk to our kids about relationships, how our schools and communities can better respond to warning signs, and how we can prevent this from happening to another family, another girl, another innocent victim. Thank you for watching this documentary. For more true stories like this, where the truth is stranger and more heartbreaking than fiction, subscribe, stay safe, and remember, love should never hurt.